Good morning, everyone. This is Martha, and I'm in the nursery, and I am fixing to take on a very important project in my heart and in my pocketbook, everything included. This is Charlie. She is my Gianna sculpt by Kathy Biscotti, and I paid a very well-known artist to paint her for me. I sent her the blank kit, and this is what you see. This is what I've had her less than a year. I washed her last night. She's ready to go. But anyway, look, her paint is peeling. Now I've had her rooted, so I've had to pull all that hair out to repaint her. And her body is fine. Her paint has not peeled off of her body, but for some reason it's peeled off of her face. And I'm not willing to send her back to the same artist because I don't trust her. I won't give you her name, but anybody that's going to consider getting someone to paint a doll for you, if you will privately message me, I will tell you who it is. But I'm not going to badmouth the lady when it could be something with this doll's head. It could be something, in the way it was made. I don't know why her head would peel and her body doesn't. But anyway, I know enough about painting silicones that I can fix it myself. So I would rather work on it myself than I had to send her back for another chance at it not working. I'm not mad about it because I worked with silicone long enough to know it's a very tricky medium. And if you don't know what you're doing, or if you just happen to do it, it's so easy to mess it up. If your measurements are not right, the least little thing can mess it up. So we're just going to handle that ourselves. And I've got a friend who is going to paint hers, and instead of trying to tell her what I do, I thought I would just record it and then she can see what I do. And first of all, I have 2 spoons. Red is for A and blue is for B. You can take a magic marker and mark them. These 2 cannot touch. It will turn your whole containers of silicone into a solid blob. You have to keep these separated. You mix them in one container. I'm just using this little plastic bowl. You measure in this. You don't use this spoon to stir and then turn around and dip out of it. These are for dipping only. They stay over here with the jars. I use toothpicks to stir with, and then I can throw them away. And they're cheap. I can get more very easily, and I stir with those. I got these pigments off of Amazon. You can use any kind you want. These are silicone colorants for silicone rubber. And they're little squirt bottles. And you can experiment with them. I use this odorless mineral spirits to thin my silicone. I use the Silicone Baby matting and dusting powder from McPherson's. And that's everything I use. But you have to, I can't stress it enough, you have to be careful. Last night, I used Dawn and washed her head. Now, I'm not going to bother her cheeks. I'm just going to paint what's peeled. So last night, I washed her head, and she's dried overnight. Now she's ready to peel. So I'm going to measure. This is silicone A. It's got the yellow label. This is silicone B. I'll put the red one over here. We'll use this one because you have to get this right. If you don't, you can forget it. You're going to mess up a very expensive project. There's one. I'm going to mix up more than I would for another project because I'm only doing her head. And I have to get the color right. So I'm not going to... I got to hurry with this video. That's 3 spoonfuls. That's enough. Now I'm going to put my pigment in because once I put silicone A in there, your time is very limited. It only takes 1 drop. Look at that. And then I'm going to put a drop of white because I don't want her red. I want her pink. I'll put a little more white than I do red. And then I'm going to take this brown, which to me it's not brown. If you call that brown, I call it rust. But we're going to put just one little rust to tone down the brown. Now that does not look like much paint. But watch this when you stir it up. I've done this enough to where I can pretty well tell what it's going to take to color it. See? And it really is opaque. When you put it on here, it's not going to be this bright. But see, I'm mixing my A and B together. With my pigment. There's all kinds of silicone pigment you can use. You don't have to use the same one I use. There's so many different kinds. Now I'm just going to pour a little bit of this. I've got just a tiny bit. Now I'll let you watch me pour it. You just want to thin it. You don't want it runny, but you don't want it really, really thick to where you can't work with it and spread it. Thick is hard to spread. So we're going to thin it down a little bit. Now, I'm not saying this is the only way. You watch some tutorials for some people that know more than I do. I'm just showing my friend what I do. Now, I should have done this before I started. I pick this to make a texture. There we go. Now, we're going to try this out. Now, I don't want her real dark. And we're going to pounce it on. I don't believe this is going to be... It's very opaque. It looks... I believe I'm going to have to add some more. Then you just start painting like you would with your Genesis or air dry, whatever you use. And I'm going to do the half, and then after I get this front half done and the top, I will turn her over and do the back. But you can't do them both at the same time. You have to do them separate. That's why it's so important that you measure your everything, because you want to repeat the same color. The last silicone I painted for myself, I got the back side darker than I did the front side. Oh, I had a terrible mess. It took me quite a while to she's still got some hairs, guys. Still got hairs. I'm not looking for a whole lot of color here. I'm looking for matching. I'm just looking for some blushing. Because her body's still fine. It may, I don't know why. But anyway. Now there's some that's gotten a little... I'd used this bowl the other day. It had a little bit of silicone left in it. Silicone only sticks to glass. If you leave some silicone sitting in a plastic container, you can peel it right out of there. But if you put it in glass, you're going to have to throw it away because you'll never get it out. It adheres to glass. Silicone is actually, I think, made out of glass. So you can't don't use glass dishes to mix your silicone, because if you do, and you don't get it all out, it's going to be there forever. Now I'm getting too far back there, so I'm going to quit that. And this is going to go pretty good here. We're not doing a whole lot to her. This is not a professional tutorial. I actually learned to paint silicone. What I know, believe me, I've messed up a lot of dolls. But what I know is I learned on watching YouTube videos. Carolyn Doherty, Dougherty, I don't know how you pronounce her name. She lives in England. Beautiful, beautiful artist. A silicone artist, a reborn artist. She's just amazing. I watched her videos. Donna Lee's got a wonderful tutorial on her YouTube, not YouTube, but a video. You can just type in Donna Lee silicone tutorial. You can watch hers. Wendy Dickinson has a nice one. There's just so many that you learn by studying. And it's like if you want to know how to paint silicone well, all you have to do is study. Watch your videos. And remember that this is going to end up with a matting layer, a sealant layer. You have to seal it with a layer. And then you have to, by the time you seal it and mat it, it's not going to be as dark as it looks right now. The color is going to be, it's going to be a lot lighter than what this looks like right now. Right now she looks very red. But by the time I put one layer on there to seal it, there's a hair. Get them off now. You won't get them off once it's sealed or once it dries. This is looking really good. I did not want her real dark. But what I was saying is, the next thing I'll do when this dries in a few hours is put her seal it, like just a plain A and B mix, a little thinner, and I let it dry. And then I'll come back and put another sealant coat on it. And as soon as that's a whole nother ball game. I'll show you I'll do a video on the matting layer because it was the hardest for me to learn. That may not be for you. Everybody's different. Move that back. Okay, I think this is going to be about enough. I just don't want a bunch of color on her. I can pull these little stray hairs that I didn't see until I put this wet silicone on her, but I can pull those out with a pair of tweezers. That's my fault. That looks pretty good, guys. I think that matches her. But this is, I don't know everything, believe me. It's took me several years to learn this much because I kept messing up. This is how I messed up my full-bodied silicone I bought from McPherson's. I shouldn't laugh, but it was a horrible, horrible mistake. Her body turned out really well, but her head was a disaster. And I had to cut her head off. I paid like $1,800 for that doll kit, blank kit. And turned around and messed it up so bad I had to cut her head off. I've still got the head somewhere. I didn't have the heart to throw it away. But her body was good. So I kept it and took my now, I think we're good. So I'm going to take, this video is getting too long. I'm going to take a break and I'll come back and show you the next step. Bye.